Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and it is time for a tag video. This is the 25 questions tag. So I was not tagged by anyone, but I did see Alan from the Library of Alexandria doing this tag a few days ago. And then I also, last night, I watched Philip Chase's video. Great channels, both fantasy-oriented channels. So I decided to do this tag, although I was debating about doing it because I'm worried that I won't have anything to film in February, and I'm doing bi-monthly TBRs, so I'm not going to do a TBR in February. I mean, I didn't even do a TBR this month. Like, at least I didn't film it anyway. I do have books in mind that I'm attempting to read, but I didn't want to, like, put pressure on myself or make an obligation that I have to read these books, because it probably won't happen. Or, like, I'll read some of them, but I won't read all of them because that will get overly ambitious. But, this is a series of questions about yourself and your channel. Mostly about yourself, though. Okay, so question number 1. What's your channel about? And my channel is about books. It's a booktube channel. Reviewing books, and like I said, I am apprehensive about not being able to come up with the videos for February, because it's just very hard for me to come up with ideas and not be, I always worry about being too boring, and I don't want to come off as trying too hard either. So I'm definitely, it's very hard to come up with ideas. So but I am going to try to, I'm going to keep doing this because I love doing this. I love talking about books. So I talk about books, and I occasionally talk about TV shows and movies. Mostly books, but I will, of course, bring up a movie or TV show, which there is actually a question about that. Okay, question number 2 is, how old are you? I am 32, even though I don't look it. I will be 33 in May. What's my relationship status? I am single and perfectly content with it. And in fact, I don't like it when people ask me about that and they're like, why don't you want a boyfriend? It's like, I don't. I'm not interested. I tried it once. I didn't like it. It felt weird. I was not comfortable with it. I'm content with my family, my sister, which family, and my friends. I mean, if I meet someone, fall in love, that's great. That'd be wonderful. Because I still want love and romance and stuff. I'm not actively searching for it. I'm not actively going out. Now, it doesn't help that I couldn't go out. I mean, it doesn't help that I don't drive. So, the dating thing is a little difficult, and it's kind of embarrassing being 32 years old and having mommy and daddy take you on your first date. But like I said, I'm fine with it. It genuinely does not bother me that I don't have any romantic partner. In fact, I kind of get annoyed if my friends just want to talk about that. But question number 4, did you go to college and occupation? I went to community college. I mean, occasionally I have the stray thought of I wish I had gone to a university, but then I think I couldn't handle being on my own away at school. I get freaked out about it, even though I like the fantasy of it all, the crappy freshman dorm, and going away to school and getting your own food, and taking these classes and studying things, which the class part I did in community college. And also living on my own, learning to take care of myself, but then I started freaking out. So, I did have 2 internships a few summers ago, government-related internships, because we did live near where I could do that, and it was also to help people with disabilities get into the workforce or experience it. And but now my occupation is working at the grocery store as a bagger, and because of course being a bagger, I can move around a lot, unlike the cashiers who have to stay at the register. Myself and a few other people, a handful of other baggers, we bring in the shopping carts, which physically is very demanding, but I actually don't mind it. Yeah, it's when it's like bad weather, it's freezing cold or like sweltering hot. then yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I don't mind because it gives me a chance to do something other than staying around putting people's groceries in their bags. And then, I do like the sweeping the store's floor, and collecting the recycle and the trash. But I don't have to clean the bathroom, and I don't have to, do everything because we do have a cleaning company that does some of the other areas. And but I am and then yeah, I think that's it. Occasionally they'll send me to, if something has to be dropped off, like returned because someone forgot about it, or it didn't get given to them, or they decide not to buy it, then I'm also one of the people that can put it back or take it to the back because it's no good anymore. So my job requires a lot of running around. So burning calories in a small way. So yeah, that's why I would love to have something else for a job, but it's not a bad job. I like my bosses. I like my coworkers. I have a very good relationship. So it's it could be worse. I could have a worse job. Okay, so I did start talking about this in that question, but where are you from or / live? So I used to live in Maryland, so I was outside of DC, so that's why I was able to get those 2 government internships over the summer, through my college. And I was born and raised there, but then when my parents were, or at least my dad anyway, because my mom is still my dad technically is still working too. When my dad retired, he decided we want to live in a golf community, so we live in a golf community. It's kind of a gated community, except for there's no gate, and it's in North Carolina. So, question number 6: looking back, what would you have told your 10-year-old self? I would tell my 10-year-old self to learn to not be so shy, and I know it's not easy, but just try to get comfortable, shed your shell a little bit, get out of your shell a little bit, and try to, and you'll make friends, and that people that are like you, and yeah, things are gonna, when you were like, things with Christina do not go well, but eventually you guys are going to be friends for a good while. Of course, that friendship is not going to last forever, but your friendships in your school days don't last forever. And when you go to college and get into the adult world, you're gonna make new friends. Okay, so question number 7: tell us about your family. Okay, so I live with my parents because it's a necessity, and it's also kind of nice not having to worry about car bills and house payments and all that stuff. I also we have a dog, a beagle. We used to have 2 dogs, but sadly last year our previous beagle, Sophie, we had to put her down. But we still have Rascal, and he's such a sweetie. And he's a lover. He's very much a lover. Like I said, he's a beagle. Although I'm recently kind of been interested in getting a cat, but my parents don't. Well, my mom wouldn't mind a cat, I don't think, but my dad doesn't like cats, even though they would be very friendly with him, at least the cats he's met. I do have an older sister who lives in another state. She is married with 3 adorable children who I love to pieces. And I always, look forward to seeing them. I mean, last time we visited them, and we had to leave because, we had to leave early, and I was very upset because I was not expecting to leave early. And I am someone who gets very emotional to the point of tears when I'm disappointed or upset about something. So I like my brother-in-law. I'm very close with both sides of my family. And I guess that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, question number 8. What's your favorite holiday? Well, it depends. I mean, I think I love Christmas just a little bit more than Halloween. I mean, Halloween is awesome. I love the spirit of Halloween and dressing up, watching scary movies and candy and like the spirit and creepy whimsiness of Halloween, all the Halloween specials. But I think I like Christmas just a little bit more than Halloween. I love the good feelings and the kind and the message of being kind and giving to others and spending time with your family. And I am one of those weird people who actually likes it when they have start playing Christmas music in November. I know so many people get, like, some of my coworkers I've talked to get really annoyed. I even was talking to a customer about it, and they did make a good point that each holiday has their own month, so they don't need Christmas doesn't need 2 months, but I kind of like it. I admitted to her, I like it, I really enjoy it, so, and, I love giving gifts, and, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't like appreciating receiving gifts. But yeah, Christmas I think I love a little bit more than Halloween. Okay, so question number 9. You have no budget. What is your dream vacation? Okay, so unlike Alan, there are quite a few places I would love to travel to. Of course, Ireland and Scotland. Just for the beauty of the greenery and the culture, and trying some of their food, and but I also love to go to Italy and Germany, so I can see all the German castles and the inspiration for all the the Grimm's Brother fairy tales. And Austria. I love to go to Austria. My sister got to go there when she lived in France for a period of time. And if you travel from different countries in Europe, if you fly, it's really cheap, apparently. And also, I want to go in someplace like India for a little, to see India. And I've always been interested in that culture. I mean, I wish I could go on my own and go on an adventure, and but I don't think I need to have someone that's experienced to go with me. Now, at least in in Scotland and Ireland, they speak in English, just with a very thick accent. And it's obviously a different culture. But it'll be easier, just a little bit easier to understand than like in Italy and I would love to go back to France and explore more, especially I love where my sister was staying when she was living there, the Aix-en-Provence. I just wish I could go to Disney World all the time. But, so that would be my dream vacation. Okay, I had trouble coming up with this question, to come up with answers for this question. Number 10, name your biggest pet peeve. I have a lot of pet peeves when it comes to work. That's for sure. Like, because, but, like, having to, when people leave their carts in their parking spots, or the median, the concrete slab with the grass on it, that has grass on it and stuff, because then that's more work for me. Or when people leave trash. I mean, even just, when in my neighborhood, when I find trash, I mean, the only reason I don't pick it up is because then I don't, I have to stuff it in my little sack I have, and because I do have a place to put it, it's just, or my pockets, but then that's where my phone and stuff is. I don't know if I have enough room. And then some of the trash are like bottles and stuff like that. But at work, obviously I can easily throw it away. So there's that. And then I don't like rudeness. I hate when people are rude, unnecessarily rude. I understand if you're tired and everything, but I always try, even if I'm tired and cranky, I always have a smile for someone, of course, especially when people draw attention to it. Which, that's another thing, is back when I first started working there, and people would be like, oh, she's not smiling, or you should smile, and so I've learned to be more talkative and social, because, you know, there were times when people would bug me if I wasn't smiling and talking. Like, I hear people are all like, if I'm tired, you know, so, yeah, and which I guess makes me a hypocrite because I don't like rudeness, and, you know, I'm like, if you're tired, Greg, you try to, you know, be all, like, I don't expect you to smile or anything, like, be all chipper and stuff, just don't be rude. Rudeness bothers me. Like, kindness goes a long way. I agree with Alan about kindness. You know, I think people need to be more kind to each other. And especially when it comes to certain controversial topics and subjects that people talk about, like, instead try to listen to people and see each other's sides and not get defensive. Like, that bugs me too, you know? When people get, you know, automatically are like, how dare you, and get all mad and defensive. That's a pet peeve of mine too. So, not, you know, and then I don't like being interrupted when I'm reading. Especially when I'm so close to being done, and then I get interrupted. Now, unfortunately, sometimes those interruptions are from my parents who have chores for me to do or have requested me, so I'm not going to be rude about that, you know, I'm going to do it. I mean, I might be like, ugh, or something like that, or, you know, but I will try to hide in my, you know, my annoyance. I'm not very good at it, though. So, those are kind of my pet peeves. And I guess I don't really like when people compare books to, like, the, you know, the next Hunger Games or something, you know, or the next Lord of the Rings. I also do not like gatekeeping. Or people, you know, or people being like, you know, or people constantly, you know, making, you know, something is the end all be all, or something is, you know, superior, like, to something else, you know, you know, but anyway, okay, so enough talking pet peeves. Okay, so question number 11, what book changed your life? And I'm gonna say Harry Potter. I know people are taking, you know, are not happy with J.K. Rowling right now, but Harry Potter was the first fantasy, especially book related, that just really meant something to me, that I became a fangirl, that I obsessed over. You know, I went to one of the, you know, midnight premieres of book 4, I remember. The first time I was a fangirl of anything, especially anything that was a book related, because I mean, I always loved reading. You know, I read things like the Dragonlance books and, you know, Goosebumps and all that, and I even read the books based on the Charmed TV show. But this was the first one that, like, really had an impact on me and had influence. So, Harry Potter. Okay, so question number 12. What simple invention improved the world? And I'm gonna say something that Philip Chase said, and that is, I agree with him that the printing press would be the invention that changed the world. I mean, like, we wouldn't have, like, internet articles and the internet without the printing press. We wouldn't have anything to put on the internet without the printing press. We wouldn't have the books and mass-produced books without the printing press. We wouldn't have the newspaper without the printing press. So, the printing press, in my opinion, is, you know, the best invention, or the invention that proved the world. Okay, this is gonna be a hard one. Number 13. Favorite movies and TV shows. Okay, so, at the moment, anyway, my favorite TV shows, I'm gonna start with TV shows, is, Boy Meets World. It is a, coming of age show about this boy growing up and reaching college and going out into the world. They did make a spin-off show, but it did not go well. It only lasted, like, I think 3 seasons. But I think a lot of Disney Channel shows, although this wasn't originally Disney, but Boy Meets World was ABC, but that's a subsidiary. Oh, I said it right that time. Subsidiary of Disney is ABC. but I think most Disney Channel shows have a shelf life of 3 seasons anyway, or 3 years. But Boy Meets World, it was such a great show, and it was a bit of a sitcom style, but it also was like a drama, like it dealt with real life issues, with comedy mixed in there. That's why it was so special. And it didn't sugarcoat anything. Okay, next is Doctor Who, which, although I have not been watching it lately, Doctor Who is just was so fun, and, I wish I could have watched the classic Who, but, it's not easy for me to get. Although there is things like BritBox, I've been told about that. But I'm apprehensive about, getting that, especially because I think it would cost money. But I love Doctor Who, although I have not watched it lately. So next is, I know most people would say Buffy, which, yes, it is a favorite. But, I'm saying Angel, the TV show, the spin-off show, about Buffy's love interest, Angel, who's a vampire cursed with a soul, and he goes to LA because he realizes, him and Buffy cannot truly be together, because if he experiences true happiness, then he will become the monster that he was and lose his soul. So he leaves and goes to LA, and some of the characters that were introduced in Buffy come to Angel and partner up with him. Of course, there are some new characters that are added. So that is, and it's such a great show. I did love vampires. I'm not as hardcore fan as some people are. But I did like them. I think I was kind of more of a witch fan. So, which actually, one of the other shows was, that I love was Charmed, the original show. I still haven't watched the season 3 of the remake show, and I'm kind of nervous because I'm worried, because I found out the actor playing one of my favorite characters has moved on to another show, so I don't know if that means he's doing both shows or his character got taken off, got killed off or something. I'm very nervous about that in the new Charm, so, and I don't want to know if anyone, any of you guys know, watch that show, watch the new Charmed. I don't want to know anything, but I love the old show. It was so fun. I mostly was a fan of Phoebe and Piper Hollowell. It's these 3 sisters who each have a different power, and they stop the world. They're kind of like Buffy, but they're witches, and they don't just kill vampires. There have been vampires on the show, but they just kill demons. And then in season 4, there's another character. There's a new sister introduced, such a half sister. And then let's see. Let me tell you guys one more show. I'll give you. Yeah, I'll tell you one more. Okay. I'll tell you a kids show that I love, that I still actually have. I have it on DVD, and that is, Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is about a group of kids who tell scary stories by a campfire, and you get to see the stories play out. And that's just so fun. Great show to watch during Halloween, like in October. So, okay, I'm gonna stop there as far as the show. So, movie-wise, let's see, this is gonna be hard. Okay. So first, I'm gonna say Sound of Music, the movie adaptation of the musical that came out in the 60s. I think it was the 60s when that movie came out. Stars Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, and this is about a woman who is this is a musical about a woman who is a young nun. She's a very free spirit, loves singing and music, and, but she is just, her spirit cannot be subdued because she's just so free-spirited. So the mother Abbess, decides to send her out into the world to become a governess to a family of 7 children and their widowed father. And she ends up winning the hearts of the children, though it's a little rough beginning. She wins the children's hearts, teaches them to sing, and then it's, and she ends up winning the heart of their father as well. And it's such a cute musical. I just love it. It takes place in the 30s. It's set in Austria. That's one of the main reasons why I want to go to Austria, because of that movie. And I just I obsess over it and analyze it and just talk about what I love about it, and even more so now. But yes. Okay, the next movie is Nightmare Before Christmas. It was my first Tim Burton movie love, although Tim Burton did not direct the movie. He produced it because he was working on one of the Batman movies. I think Batman Returns when he decided, but it's technically his baby. But Henry Selznick was the one who directed the movie, and I feel like he does not get enough. Henry Selznick. Oh, Selznick. I can never remember his last name. I would have to look it up. But he was the director, and he's done a couple other movies by Tim Burton that were produced by Tim Burton, and with music by the great Danny Elfman. And I got him, and I do have a little bit of a crush on Danny Elfman. Especially his singing voice. He sings Jack's character, Jack Skeleton. It is about the world of Halloween, now it's a little different though than the Halloween Town on Disney Channel movie. And it is ruled by Jack Skeleton, who he is unsatisfied because everything is always the same when it comes to Halloween. And one day, while he's kind of being, kind of moping about it and being feeling unsatisfied, he comes across a magical forest where there are doorways into the other holiday worlds of old, as the poem says, and ends up going to Christmas. He is enchanted by the Christmas door and finds himself in Christmas land and decides he wants to take over Christmas and be Santa Claus. And just chaos ensues. It's fun. The music is catchy. I have it memorized. That's one of the movies I have memorized. And it's just whimsical and creepy. And it's the reason I fell in love with Tim Burton and his team. I love the stop motion animation. I think it's so cool. It's just so I just love it. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this. And I loved it, it came out in 93, so I was real little, but I was old enough to appreciate, I would perform the songs and everything, especially Jack's Lament. Even use the furniture to represent the mountain that Jack walks up on. Which I find it so funny because when looking back and watching interviews from them and everything, they didn't realize how much it had developed a cult following, because it was not well received by kids on the test audience, which were a bunch of kids when it first came out, and they did not realize that it had developed a cult following until their Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake came out, that was 2016 or something. Yet, I have loved that movie since it came out, and I was old enough to understand, I have been enchanted with movies since the 90s. I wish I could meet them and tell them that. Another favorite movie is Shrek. Shrek is awesome. It's kind of a fairy tale about an ogre, and he is, he wants just to live peacefully, but then the king of far, far away, not a far, far, the king, the Lord Farquaad, he wants a perfect world, so he's trying to get rid of all the magical creatures that ruin his perfect world. So he leaves. They end up on at Shrek's swamp, and he, along with a talking donkey, as that is his annoying psychic, they go visit Lord Farquaad, and Farquaad, who's trying to find a wife, realizing how strong and tough Shrek is, decides to send him to find Fiona, Princess Fiona, who's trapped in a tower guarded by a fierce fire-breathing dragon. And they rescue her, but in the process, Shrek and Fiona fall in love with each other. It's cute, it's fun, it turns the fairy tale world upside down on its head, and it's just, that's one of the ones I know really well. And then I'll say Miss Doubtfire. The first Robin Williams movie. This is about a man a loving father who he's just not very good with the responsible stuff. He can't keep a job, and his wife is just so frustrated and divorces him. But they have 3 kids, and he loves them more than anything, will do anything for them. So he disguised himself as a nanny, Miss Doubtfire, and volunteers to be their housekeeper and nanny. And it becomes a very insightful experience for him. It's just a heartwarming family film. It's sad, it's bittersweet. It's such a great performance by Robin Williams. It's brilliant. One of the best. And then I'll say one more, and then I'll stop. Tropic Thunder. That is such a great comedy. It's a Ben Stiller film. It stars Ben Stiller, of course, as Jack Black, Brandon T. Jackson, and one of my all-time favorite actors, Robert Downey Jr. And it's these guys, these are a group of actors. Brandon T. Jackson plays this rapper who is, trying to get more promotion and wants to break out into Hollywood. You have the O.J. Baruchel's also as this new guy, this young actor who wants to get into the business and still struggling. And then you have Ben Stiller is an action star who is trying to get his game back on, but he's really struggling with his reputation. And then Jack Black is the comedian who is best known for a franchise that is kind of based on the Nutty Professor. But their thing is they fart. They fart a lot. So Jack Black plays a character who's addicted to heroin, I think, and he's a comedian, and he's kind of a struggling comedian wanting to be taken more seriously. And then you have RDJ plays a method actor who goes to these great extremes, and it's basically making fun of Hollywood and the crazy shit that these actors will do for a part, and kind of making fun of the actors who will do very rude and disrespectful things at times. It's a parody of Hollywood. It's just a great it's a great comedy. It's one of the few comedies that's kind of an all-male cast with only one scene with with female characters, or only a handful of scenes where women play minor roles. And but it's so great and memorable. So many great lines. Unfortunately, there are lines that I cannot say, but it's so fun, I mean, it's a movie that I would love for Terry to watch and Larissa to watch, even, because even if they've already seen it, it's probably been a long time, because I don't hear people talk about Tropic Thunder. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there with the TV shows and movies. Like I said, that it's a hard question because there's so many. Okay, so question number, and that's only 13. There's, quite a few more to go. Okay, describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. Okay, so I said Shalon from Stormlight Archives, Willow Rosenberg from Buffy. It says fictional characters, so it doesn't have to be book characters. But Shalon is from Storyline Arc, so I am including 2 book characters. So, like I said, Shalon, Willow from Buffy, and then Jane Eyre. Okay, so question number 15. What was your dream job? I always wanted to be an actor, but I am too shy and not comfortable in my own skin, I gotta admit. In fact, I would cry just because I got so nervous right before an audition that I wanted, because I was crying, I would give a terrible audition. And it was just, I would just get to the point where I'm just get the audition over with. And an author. I mean, I still would love to be an author, but I can't, it's like hard for me to, I can't seem to discipline myself to write anything. I get distracted too easily, and some people probably tell me that I don't want it enough. Okay, so and then question number 16. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? Probably teleportation. Like Alan, I would love teleportation. Because, I mean, as he said, travel is very expensive. So I would love to be able to teleport to Europe, teleport to my friends. I'm sure some, they would, like, they're all far away in different states now. I would love to teleport to my sister's house. Be kind of nice to teleport to work without having to worry about my parents having to, make sure my parents are available to take me and to pick me up. And there would be other, like, I wish I could create, certain things with have magic to create things. Okay, so, but teleportation would be, okay, so, share your favorite childhood memory. This was kind of hard because it was hard to come up with a childhood memory. I mean, I do remember those years at my other grandma's house, on my dad's side, and going there and spending holidays with the family. That was always fun when we were all together. And all the kids were in the creepy basement. Or we were, my Nana had a tree, this big, huge tree in our yard that we could easily climb. And, I remember my parents didn't remember it, but my sister and I do. And I guarantee my cousins probably do too. But, the biggest thing I wish I could recall, that I wish I could remember, because some of my favorites, there are memories that I wish I could recall, like memories with both my grandfathers. I was very close to both my grandfathers. And, I wish I could remember those, because people just talk about how much they love me, and there are certain memories they share that I barely remember, and sometimes I get sad whenever I can't remember. I can't hear their voices in my head anymore, that I can't remember what they sounded like. So yeah, it was hard to come up with a specific memory. Like I said, some of the holidays, at my Nana's house with all my cousins. And, I did especially think about it because my dad did this beautiful gift for my mom where she did a kind of poem where she talked about some of our Christmas-related memories. It was really beautiful. It was really sweet. Okay, so question number 18. What is your favorite social media platform and why? A few years ago, I would have said Facebook, but I don't like Facebook anymore. Especially when, like after, years of going down the rabbit hole of Once Upon a Time and all the drama of being a fangirl, it just stressed me out. And then there are certain subjects that I don't want to talk about on social media. I don't like talking about them. And Facebook definitely did a deep dive. I stopped liking being on Facebook. I still have my account. And I don't even dare get a Twitter account. I will think about it for a moment because there are some, authors and actors that I would like to tweet, or, read their tweets and, comment on them. But it's not worth it. So, I mean, really the only social media I like is, well, I like Instagram because it's easy. You just post a picture. You just post pictures. And maybe label the pictures here and there, but it's easy and not easy. I do have a blog via Google that I occasionally, respond, and then, but really my favorite probably is YouTube, because I like watching YouTube videos. I can watch interviews and clips and, teasers, episodes coming out for shows that I like, and I can watch clips of some of my favorite scenes without having to, watch the show or the movie, put in the DVD. I like those music videos that were like period drama music videos where you show clips from your favorite period dramas with music and stuff like that. With like a radio song. And then just doing this, talking on videos about books and stuff. It's so fun. And it's just, at the moment, it's easy, and easy and fun. I mean, I know that if I ever got like over 1,000 subscribers, it could potentially be risky because people can get ugly and mean, just like on Twitter. But so far, so far you guys are great, and I like talking to you guys. So at the moment, YouTube for my channel, and then for watching other channels. And it's also a great way to, get reviews on books and movies and stuff. And I like watching other people's videos. It's, so yeah, my favorite would be YouTube. Okay, question number 19. If you could pick any book character who you would spend the day with, who would it be? And I said Shalon from Stormlight Archives. I think, from what I've read of The Way of Kings, I really enjoy Shalon. I think we'd have really great conversations, philosophizing, talking about art. I think we would be very similar in personality, and she kind of makes me think a little of Willow and a character from Angel, Winifred Burkle. That kind of quiet, shy, nerdy type person, would be a great conversationalist if you have a lot of stuff in common. I think it would be fun to hang out with her and talk about stuff, and I'd love to hear her talk about art and her art, and her family. I wouldn't mind hearing about her family, and, so I would like to hang out with Shalon from Stormlight Archives. Okay, so question number 20. What's your spirit animal? I've always loved wolves. I've always been a fan of wolves. The idea of being a wolf, because they're wild and have a free spirit. I mean, I love dogs, but I think it'd be cool to be a wolf. And this has always been my favorite animal. Okay, so question 21. What old person thing do you do? I thought this question was really funny. So I do that thing where I complain about how when I was growing up, how things were better. When I was, how my generation was better than how my generation didn't, how we were the last generation that actually played outside instead of spending all our time on the internet. And I do kind of, make a big deal that I make sure I read over spending all my time on my phone, because that's what my generation is known for. We're millennials. We love our phones and all that. So, and unfortunately, some coworkers who don't work there anymore, they were like high schoolers going into college, I think. And they were, they did call me on the fact that I still will use my phone and be on my phone. Just maybe not as much, but I will still be on my phone, because I feel like we kind of need, we do need our phones. So yeah, so talking about how things were better when I was growing up, my generation was better. Okay, so Question number 22 is, do you have a hidden talent? And actually, like Alan, I think I have a pretty good memory. In fact, I get impatient and frustrated with the people in my life that don't have as good of a memory as I do. And I'm that person who will be like, say the quote, exactly the exact quote. I will correct the simplest words like to or from, or, if I will correct the exact wording of a quote or a lyric. And like I said, I get impatient and frustrated with people if they don't remember exactly or they don't remember at all. And sometimes it does make me question myself and be like, am I remembering correctly? And then, like Alan, I also would, we had trivia at my work. Only difference between me now is I didn't always like because it took place at my work. And I also, I'm very insecure about my smarts. So it's because I feel like I run into people who are always a little bit smarter than me. And, I only know some topics. Sometimes I will know obscure facts, but then so we would have trivia, and then I got tired of going because it's like, I don't want to be at my job doing the trivia. So it was like, so my parents started going by themselves and being like, well, if you don't want to go, you don't have to go. But then they would come home and they'd be like, oh, I bet you would know the answer to this question. And sometimes I would be relieved if I didn't know the answer. And then other times I would be like, yeah, I know. And, I'd give the answer or whatever. Trying to be nonchalant about it. Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I also don't like this question because I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I don't know if I'm still going to be in a similar situation than I am, or if anything's going to change at all, or maybe things will change in a big way. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. I personally don't have an answer for this one. And I know there are people who have a 5-year plan, but I do not. Okay. So the last, 25 I'm not going to do, which is name and tag people. Consider yourself tagged. If you guys want to do this, it's kind of a fun one, It's not exactly book related, but it's, it's kind of talking about yourself. Like, kind of a get to know you tag. And, so the question before it, question number 24, share an item and tell us its significance. I don't know. I mean, I don't really... A lot of my items are kind of like, pop culture things, and it's nothing super special. The only thing I can think of is... I'll be right back. As well, and I could be wrong about this, but I thought someone told me that my grandfather, my mom's father, made this. And like I said, I was very close. I had a very strong bond with both my grandfathers. So, especially on my, so I just recall my mom telling me that he made it. But I don't remember for sure. But I always thought it looked really cool, especially because it's wood and I just thought it was cool. I don't really have anything in it. I used to have stuff in it. Like I had this ladybug, paperweight that when I did my government internship, I had a little angel figure of my aunt that had passed away. They kind of put in here, which I probably shouldn't have because it's probably disrespectful. But no, the only thing I put in here is these 2 chains. For necklaces, because I don't like wearing necklaces with a little clasp because I can never put those on. I always have trouble with it. I don't have the dexterity to do that, so. But yeah, this is the closest to special because something that's significant because I think my grandfather made this. So, and like I said, the last question is a, tag people. So consider yourself tagged if you want to do it. This tag, it is interesting to get to know you, like I said. So, I hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Click subscribe if you haven't already and you liked my video. And I hope you are, as always, enjoying your reading. And I will talk to you all later. All right, bye!